see. All right, it is 7 o'clock and I'm live. Let me turn this up just a little bit. There we go. All right. Hi. Oops, I don't want to get it up too much. Yeah, good. I am Stampindede with Stampinedede's Doings. I'm a Stampin Up demonstrator, and I am so excited to be with you here tonight. The first Tuesday, this is Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, I do a Dying to Know presentation. And for that, we will explore one of the stamp and die sets. And, you know, sometimes they've got all these odd, weird pieces, and you look at it and you go, how do I use this? That's what we do. We're looking at them, using the pieces, stamping, die cutting, putting together cards, showing samples of how to use them. So that's what we're here to do tonight. And we are going to do Seaside Bay tonight. So let me look on here and see. Yep. All right. All right. And so Seaside Bay is one of the stamp sets, one of the bundles that is in the new mini catalog. And that is going to go live in 2 days. January 5th, you're going to be able to order from the new mini catalog, and celebration also starts that day. So for every $50 that you spend from whatever catalog, new catalog, annual catalog, but for every $50 that you spend, you get to pick a free product from the celebration catalog. There are $50 products, and then there are a couple of $100 products. So if you spend $100, you get to pick one of the $100 products or two of the $50 products. So you get your products that you're buying, plus you get free products. It's a great deal. And that starts Thursday, January 5th. Did I say September a while ago? Surely not. January 5th. And I am so excited to be able to show you this set. It's one of my favorites in the catalog. I can't show you the catalog yet. I can't show you the inside of the catalog until it goes live. But I will show you the catalog itself is right here. It's a beautiful catalog. Let's see. Trying to get it where you can see it. There we go. All right, this is the new mini catalog. So if you do not have one of these and you don't, contact your demonstrator. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to put one of these in your hands, as well as one of the celebration catalogs. So if you are ready to place an order on January 5th, I would love to help you with that. And I would love it if you would use the host code. Look on this website in the multicolored box that's right above the video, and the host code is there. And I would appreciate it if you would use the host code. So let me know if I can help you with anything. And I'm looking on here. All right. So we're going to turn the camera down, and we're going to get busy with Seaside Bay. So bear with me a minute while we do this. All right. All right. So here we go. I'm going to refresh this, and I bet the microphone goes away. It did. And I'm going to turn this down just a bit. All right. We are ready to look at Seaside Bay and the Seaside Bay dies. So first of all, let's talk about the stamp set. So it has all of these wonderful shells, mollusk shells, different shells, a clam with a pearl inside, a crab, It's got the birds, the little birds and the big bird, and it's got the sand. It has just got some great stamps in it. And the sentiments: you are a pearl, rare and precious, heartfelt sympathy, and thank you for everything. All right, so these are the stamps, and here are the dies. So this die, let me get it up. This die cuts out a like a sandy shore. It cuts out a piece of ground, a piece of sand. Of course, you could use it for anything, but that's what I used it for, was a piece of the sand. So there's that die. This is our clam die. Not only do you have this stamp, or the oyster, you have this stamp, but you have this stamp as well, or this die, which is structured so that you can put a pearl inside. And we're going to look at that when we use the card. This is a crab die. And while we're on that, let me just, all right, I'm gonna go back to, I want to try to go back. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to get out of my full screen. And I'm not sure why it's in full screen like this. But let me do this. There. Nope, that wasn't it. I am so sorry. I need to figure out how to see. Let me back up one here. Hold on. All right, now I'm going to go to the video. All right, and now I can see my comments. I needed to be able to see the comments. All right, so since we're on the crab die, I want to go on and show you the papers. And this paper pack is called By the Bay. So here are the papers that are in this paper pack, and it is reminiscent of the On the Horizon paper pack. Some of it has silvery stripes in it, as you can see. Some of it has this beautiful gold in it. Most of this side are just colors, different colors. And this one has fish, goldfish. Let's see. This one has got that gorgeous gold in it as well. And then the other side have the patterns for the most part. This one doesn't. This one is just a shimmery pattern. But this one has the mollusks. And you can actually cut out the mollusks using this die. So I probably can't, yeah, there we go. So you could cut these mollusks out using the die from your paper, or you can use the mollusk stamp and then die cut it out. But there's that paper. This one has just got some pretty lines in it. This one has got the crabs, and you can cut these crabs out. I'm trying to get my die up. So this cuts the crab out of the paper, the designer series paper. You can also cut the mollusks out of this paper. And you can, let's see, what else would we be able to cut? I think that would be all from this particular paper. Okay, put my crab back over there. Of course, you can always stamp the crab and then cut him out. But I love that some of the papers allow you to do that too. And this is another pretty fish. So this is another one where you can cut out the crab or the mollusk. This is another pretty pattern, gold pattern. Another paper with the crabs. This one has the, let's see. You could probably use this to cut out this seashell. Cut that one out, or the blue one. You could cut that out. I'm not seeing anything else that cuts out from that. Oh yeah, looks like maybe this would cut that out. So there's lots of possibilities with this paper and this die. This is one of my favorites. Look at the shine. I don't know if you can see that shine or not, but it's just gorgeous. And of course, this again is your mollusk, and you'll have to find one that's not overlapped, so that you wouldn't be able to cut out many of them, but certainly some of them. Okay. That's such a pretty paper. And this is another one with your crab. And then this one has your bird that you can cut out. So you can use the die to cut out the bird. Isn't that awesome? All right. And another one with the shells. And then another pretty design. So you can see that this paper is really multi-purpose for this set. And I'll show you, we'll use some more of it in a minute. Gosh, I think I just knocked half of my stuff off. And I think I knocked some of it into the trash even. My goodness gracious. Just a minute, let me pick up my pieces down here. Hopefully nothing in the trash that matters anyway. All right, so let's go back to this. So you've got this clamshell that you can stamp and die cut. And then the crab, we've already talked about that. And this is your, this is going to stamp some sand with these 3 shells. And then if you want to raise those shells up, maybe, you can stamp it again on a separate piece of paper. And I'm moving it over. And then die cut those 3 shells out. And then use pop-up, use dimensionals under them. And pop them up on your image. All right, let me get that back in. And this is another one of the little shells, and it cuts out. It's just a little, actually this could be the pearl, and I think maybe I used it that way. It could be the pearl in this particular one. That's how I used that one, and that's with this die. And then you've got your bird that cuts out with the bird. This one is all 3 birds together. So you can stamp them on your waterfront set, your waterfront scene. Or you can take this and, let me do it this way. You can stamp and die cut your birds and then put them wherever you want them. All right. And then we've also got this one that is one of those rounded shells, one of those I don't know, spiral shaped shells. You can see it better there. And the die that cuts that out. Then your sentiments, of course. And this, I missed the one. This shell, you can die, stamp, and die. There you go. And it's this shell. And so another stamp that is in here is just this sand. And we'll use it, or you'll see it used on one of the cards, just to add some additional sand to your scenery. And then you have these two dies, additional dies. Actually, there's 3 that emboss and cut out your die cut some more shells that you can use on your card. We're going to be using all of these. And then you've got your two sizes of seagrass right here. And we'll be using that as well. All right, I think I've gone through all of the pieces, and hopefully I have not lost any of the ones. Looks like I may have lost a couple of them. Yeah, well, we'll make do with what we've got. Let me look down here. Just a minute. Oh, there it is. There's another one. All right. Okay, well, let's get started. You've seen this set. So let me show you a few cards that can be made with this. All right, this one is just a real simple sympathy card and using the heartfelt sympathy. So it's using one of the designer series papers with the gold in it. And I used the layering circle framelits to make the scallop background, and you can just barely see it, with mint macaron, and then used the regular circle out of the white, basic white. And on that, I just inked, let me get back in here to my, so I only inked one of the birds, probably, I don't know, probably that one. I just inked one of them and stamped it right there. And then I used my little specks, the sand specks, and I just inked the top of that and used it right there. And then I die cut one of these, the small ones, and used it here. And then 2 out of this set. So I just stamped this onto with, probably that's the Night of Navy ink. And then I used this die to cut them out and used a couple of them on the card. And I am messing stuff up again. I've got to keep my arm away from this. All right. All right, and then I used some of our gold ribbon to do the around the card and the bow. So, and then I one of the other birds, I stamped another bird here. I used a piece of the cardstock or the designer series paper and stamped a bird and I must have used this one and cut 2 shells. So I used one on the outside and one on the inside. Very simple card, but I think so stunning. All right, this is actually one that I did, I think a Facebook Live on this one a little while back. Let me get it untied. So a real simple card using the Designer Series paper again. And this is that shiny mollusk paper. I stamped and die cut a bird. I stamped and die cut the clamshell. And this is the flat-backed pearl, the adhesive flat-backed pearl. And put that in there and used 2 more on the bottom of the card. Stamped "You're a Pearl, Rare and Precious" on the inside. And that is that card. So I'll just tie that back later. Then this is another one. And this one I used the sand and the shell stamps at the bottom. I did die cut out of crumb cake. I die cut one of these little shells and used a dimensional. I stamped and die cut the bird. And again, heartfelt sympathy. Just a little fun fold card. And put some of this is the ribbon that also comes with that set. It's balmy blue and white ribbon. Again, a really simple card, but I love that this, oh, and I did use some of the paper on the envelope for this one, on the flap of the envelope. This one, I used more of the stuff on it. I took some of the Designer Series paper and I just tore it and cut and put it at the bottom of a balmy blue cardstock. And then I die cut one of the crabs off of the Designer Series paper and put him right there with dimensionals. I die cut crumb cake shells again, and this bird I die cut out of the Designer Series paper. This one I stamped and die cut. This one is just out of the paper. And then some of the grass, topped it with a bow. I'm Thinking of You. And that I think I got from another set. All right. Simple little card. This is the Basic Borders die. I used that there, the Basic Borders die. And then these are some of the metallic pearls. All right. This one then. This one has even more stamping on it. So on this one, I did a lot of sand. I used this stamp at the bottom, stamped the shells and the sand, and I die cut 3 of the shells out and popped them up with dimensionals. And then I did stamp and die cut one of the round spiral shells, this one right here. And I stamped and die cut this clam shell. And this is what I mentioned earlier. I used the round circle and the die right here and created the pearl. And I went over that with Wink of Stella, just to give it a little bit of texture, make it look a little different than the clamshell. And then I die cut the 3 stamped and die cut the birds. Used some of our twine. And thank you for everything. So again, just using the elements from this set. And I did add, you know, we have this package of faux sea glass shapes, and I rarely have occasion to use these, but I thought this is the perfect card to use these on, and so I used some of those and added them along the bottom down here. All right, so those are some of the cards that some of the samples that I did, but now we're going to put one together, and I used a crumb cake base. And let me come along and burnish that score. And I have pre-stamped and die cut these. On this one, I used this, and then I just came along with my Stampin' Right marker in the Starry Sky. I used the Starry Sky, I think, and just did those little holes just to give it just a little bit of interest. And I, out of the Designer Series paper, I die cut the crabs, and I die cut the bird out of the Designer Series paper, and the mollusks out of the Designer Series paper. And then I used the grass die and cut some grass for me. Getting that off. And this is one of the little shells. And here's the other little shell. Glad I found it. And then this is going to be my sand base. So I thought what I would do, I haven't cut my Designer Series paper yet, but I want this to look like the sandy shore, and then maybe a little water drifting in and some more sand, like a little sandbar. And it seems like that's the area where the birds really enjoy coming along and pecking at the little things that are in the water. So I'm going to get my trimmer and cut this down. I do want that blue to show. So I'm going to cut this down to 5 1/4. Let's see, we've got a base, so it's going to be, let me see what I cut the base at. I think I cut it at 5 1/4. I did. So I'm going to cut this a little less, maybe 5 1/8. By 3 7/8. Let me do that. I think that'll do it. Let's see. Yep, it gives us just the tiniest little border, and that's all I wanted. All right, and then I'll keep these pieces to use on something different. We don't need this anymore. All right, let's get some adhesive on this and get it down. Put a little in the middle. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and put this on the front of the card. Well, let me put it on there. The surface is not real hard, so it doesn't start up real easily. I am almost out of adhesive here. Okay. Put this back here and get it centered. All right. And then we're going to bring this in right here. And I actually am going to go ahead and cut it at 5 1/8, but I better do it this way. That should do it. All right. All right, we're going to use a little bit of liquid glue here. Well, as always, it's going to give me trouble. There. I could put this on with dimensionals, and maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. But you could do that and then stick things under it like I did. Let's see. I guess I really didn't on these, but you certainly could. All right. So I think let's do a little arranging here using our seagrass. I'm going to put a couple of those right here. I want my clam to be here by the seagrass. Not under it. So right there maybe. I want my bird, get my big things on. I want my bird walking along right here. And my crab could be right down here. And maybe a mollusk tucked in here. And a couple of little, I'm sorry, you can't see it. It's up higher this time than normal, and I'm not used to. So, put a crab right there, put a shell or two, maybe another shell right down here. Right there. Do we need more grass? I could put some grass right here. I could put some there. What do you think? All right. I think I'm going to turn this a little bit. Maybe turn it. Do I want to do that? No. I think it's fine right there. Get my grass back over here. Put that there. Actually, maybe put this toward the bottom and this toward the top. What do you think? All right. I think that'll work. Right there. The mollusk tucked in behind the clam. Crab down here looking at the... going after the bird. All right. I think we're going to call that it. Now, we're going to start putting stuff on. And the thing I'm going to put on first is the grass. Just a little bit of glue. to put it right on the edge. Then I'm going to put my bird, and the bird is going to be with dimensionals. All right. Here and here. So if you're watching, please comment. Just say hi. I would love to know if you're watching. That bird is going to go right there. And if you are, if you comment, if you're watching and you comment, you go in a drawing for a prize. So please comment. All right, here is the crab. And I think we'll put him right here. Should I pop him up? I think so. I think we'll pop him up. You know, when you're creating from the fly, you have to make some decisions and then you decide later, well, not sure I really liked that, but I'll do it differently next time. There, we'll pop him up and we'll glue the shell down. Thank you, Kay. This set is so fun to play with. It is so fun. And with the paper, you just, yeah, it's really awesome. All right, I'm going to put this grass down now. Got to remember to keep it up high. Grass goes right there, and another one is going to go right here, right next to it. And you know, I think this mollusk can be hiding behind the grass. What do you think? I think that's a perfect place for this mollusk, is hiding behind the grass. And then our clam will go right down here, and we're going to put some glue on the back of him. And we're going to put another shell right here. Just sitting right there. I don't think, would another piece of grass do? We could certainly do that. I think I will. I think I will put another piece of grass so that the mollusk is truly hiding behind the grass. There we go. Now we want to add one of the flat adhesive backed pearls inside our clam. Our oyster. What is it, a clam or an oyster? You know what? I'm going to have to look that up before I blow it on a video. All right, I'm going to put this right back here, right there. So our little surprise is in there. All right, I'll put these up, and I think I'm also going to use some of the faux sea glass because it's just a great opportunity to use this. All right, so we can pop some right here and maybe right up here. And then right down here, we need one more. Put one right there. All right. So I think we're done. What do you think? Of course, I didn't do the inside. I'll leave that for a later. Oh, the sentiment. So what sentiment do we want? You are a pearl, rare and precious. Heartfelt sympathy. I think it's too busy for a sympathy card. Or, I'm turning this guy a little bit. Or, thank you for everything. How about you're a pearl, rare and precious? Let's do that one. Let me grab a... All right. You're a pearl, rare and precious, and I need to get a white scrap out. Okay. And I'm going to get and I think I'll do Knight of Navy. I think that's what I'll use is a Knight of Navy. So you are a pearl, rare and precious. Test it. Okay. Line this up. You are a pearl, rare and precious. And I'm just going to die cut that. Use my trimmer, and I'll use this trimmer to get this cut. So if I had a little more time, I probably would have used a die to cut this. But for now, for this, we're just going to go with it. But I want to make sure I get this straight. All right. You're a pearl, rare and precious. And I am going to banner the ends. Let me get my chair pulled up. All right. Banner the ends. Got pieces going everywhere. All right, and we're going to pop that up, put it right there, and you know, I think I'm going to put another pearl on that. Okay, pop that up, put it right there. And I'm going to put a pearl on it. It needs a pearl, right? So we'll get one of the little ones and put the little one on it. Right there. How's that? All right. Our card is finished. What do you think? I love this stuff. I love this set. I love the way it comes together. I love the way the designer series paper works. so well with the die set and the stamps. All right. So, Seaside Bay, do you have any questions? Any questions at all? So, come Thursday, this set will be available to be purchased, as will everything from the new mini catalog. And I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait to show it to you. And like I said, if I can help you with anything, I would love to. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to help you with your order. All right. Okay. Kay, you are going to get a prize, it looks like. Nobody else commented. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being such a loyal friend and customer. And if you're watching the replay, I hope you'll comment and let me know that you're watching it. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I hope that you'll comment as well. Thank you. Thank you for watching YouTube, replay, and thank you for watching me live. All right. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.